if you're one of the dudes who is in that work environment and you're watching what's going down, you're seeing that there's a Cosby suite in which they're trying to plow women with liquor, and they are trying to do all kinds of terrible, nefarious schemes, and you don't speak out about it, then yes, you are part of the problem. So if you want to be one of the good boys, not the good old boys, but one of the good boys, and you want to, uphold the values of Dudes Rock, then call this shit out. Support whistleblowers, everybody. Support unionization. Support strikes. Support stuff. Support.
We expect that the leadership will be willing to work with us, but if they don't, we will continue to apply pressure through the various avenues we have to do so. We do not plan to stop demanding change in this area until we achieve it. And yes, the developers in the Irvine office of Blizzard are planning a walkout on the 28th of July, which is...
Sakamara, thank you.
Tomorrow. They have a statement of intent here. Given last week's statements from Activision Blizzard Incorporated and their legal counsel regarding the DFEH lawsuit, as well as a subsequent internal email from Francis Townsend, who is not a popular person just about anywhere, it seems, and the many stories shared by current and former employees of Activision since, we believe that our values as employees are not being accurately reflected in the words and actions of our leadership. As current employees, we are holding a walkout to call on the executive leadership team to work with us on the following demands in order to improve conditions for employees at the company, especially women, and in particular women of color and transgender women, non-binary people, and other marginalized groups. 1. To end the mandatory arbitration clauses in all employee contracts, current and future. Arbitration clauses protect abusers and limit the ability of victims to seek restitution. Basically, right? That means that you go and you deal with something in arbitration instead of it being any form of court thing, which basically means solve the problem without the discovery part of a legal case happening, because the discovery part is when you've legally got to turn over your records and documents. Companies want to avoid that shit, so they do mandatory arbitration clauses in employment contracts. The staff don't want that anymore.
It's exactly the same as happened over in Red.
Yeah.
Exactly the same, where they had the same problem. All of the stuff that was happening internally that was bad got covered up because it went to arbitration that Red controlled. And that was that.
Yeah.
So just the same shit.
Point 2. The adoption of recruiting, interviewing, hiring, and promotion policies designed to improve representation among employees at all levels, agreed upon by employees in a company-wide diversity, equity, inclusion organization. Current practices have led to women, in particular women of color and transgender women, non-binary peoples, and other marginalized groups that are vulnerable to gender discrimination, not being hired fairly for new roles when compared to men.
I completely agree, everybody. You shouldn't be playing Blizzard games today. Do not play Overwatch. Do not play WoW. I'm quite fortunate in that I don't have to do much to participate in this strike. It's not like the Frito-Lay strike, okay? It's not like I have to go and suddenly buy, non-name brand chips and give in to my inner urges. I don't actually play WoW. I don't actually play Overwatch. I don't really play any MMORPG, IGDs because I frankly don't have the time. Between the research for the streaming, preparing segments, editing Serfs videos on the other end, working with the worker co-op that we have going to try and get things together. There's no free time for MMORPGs. Do you think I can grind? Okay. Do you think I can level up? Do you think I can do what do you have to do in WoW nowadays? You have to kill boars for weeks on end. At least that South Park episode taught me. Do you think I can do any of that? I don't have the time. Okay. I can't grind. I can't do that. I can't wear a human diaper and just sit here for 8 hours grinding, killing boars, leveling up to catch up with all of y'all, join these wonderful worlds and campaigns. No, I can't. Minecraft. Are you kidding me? I'm just going to, do you think I'm going to mine for resources? I'm going to collect my sugar cubes, and then I've got all these wooden sugar cubes and ore and golds. And then it's okay, you can build a box. It's oh, cute. Well, I'll use all my sugar cubes to build a box. Well, that sounds great. Oh, look at me. I built a box. It's oh, yeah, you thought you built a box. You're actually going to need iron. Yeah, that's the last piece you'll need to finish this box. But don't worry. You can get that. You just have to dig for 12 hours in this hole, fight some of these creepers, and then you'll find iron. And then once you get that, you can get back out, and then you can build a box. And it's fun. That's fun, right? You're having a good time? Cool. Well, then once you've built that, you can start working on a porta potty. build a porta potty out of the sugar cubes. So go get all the sugar cubes. You'll have to make porcelain. Porcelain's not easy. You got to fuse some other sugar cubes to make that porcelain. But once you do that, hey, you can make a porta potty. Look at how much fun we're having. Look at this. 3 days have gone by, and you spent all day mining, fighting creepers. You built your little thing, and then there you go. Yeah, that's the future. There you go. I don't need to sleep, just play games.
And yeah, there's like there are.
Oh, M60, it's true. It's true. M60 is always trying to turn me into a capitalist. You also take advantage of our lefty powers, M60. Whenever I drop into your streams or I rage you, all of a sudden you'll pull this move where you're like, I'm super gay, commies, which means idpol, the rules of idpol means all of you have to sub to me immediately or you're not true communists. You have to do a communism right now. And that's clever. That's fucking clever. I'll grant you that. That is just A+ marketing. I wish I wish I had those powers. You're very good at what you do. Hey, everyone, I noticed Freems is here, M60's here. Can y'all go give them follows? Both their channels are pretty damn based. They're great stuff. Hey, let's keep talking about Blizzard. I got so many weird revelations coming up.
If you look at like some of the stories people are sharing from Blizzard, just off of people being like, oh yeah, hey, you make a good secretary over in that building, which is like a pretty demeaning way to talk to somebody who's,
Video gamer KM, thank you.
Qualified in an engineering job, right? 3, publication of data on relative compensation, including equity, grants and profit sharing, promotion rates, and salary ranges for employees of all genders and ethnicities at the company. Current practices have led to aforementioned groups not being paid or promoted fairly. And
yeah,
4,
Celeste is the next
company-wide diversity, equity, and inclusion task force and hire a third party to audit Activision Blizzard King's reporting structure, HR department, which is a department that's came under a lot of fire, and executive staff. It is imperative to identify how current systems have failed to prevent employee harassment and to propose new solutions to address these issues. I mean, like, these are real issues. Like, literally, like within Activision Publishing, a woman died, right? Like, a woman died. Took her own life after having pictures of her genitals being shared around at some party of Activision. This is not Blizzard Entertainment, I believe. I believe this one is Activision.
Oh, I saw that. They're so happy. They feel like this is the greatest gotcha of all time. They're like, wow, Serfs, this is an endorsement. So first off, Kyle made a clickbait title that was like, AJW endorses Jimmy Dore ? Which, yeah, is clickbait. I'll give you that. It's shameless. It's shameless clickbait. And now they've been running with it. It's like, yeah, the guy who says I don't like Jimmy Dore, definitely endorsing Jimmy Dore. And like I noticed him, Nuance Bro, Short Fat Otaku, every single one of them, they're just like gleefully just like, oh, we got him. Lance doesn't understand the English language. He doesn't know what endorse means.
Activision employees, and she took her own life on a business trip with her boss, where her boss, who
that is absolutely
believed
fucked,
in
by the way,
sexually harassing her, brought lube in a butt plug. So you're like, man, it's insane. So as for the walkout details, will take place Wednesday, July 28th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., where people will meet in the front gate of the Blizzard campus. They will not enter the Blizzard campus due to current COVID health and security measures. Parking should be restricted to the open parking lot, building 5 and 6 area. And there's no
jelly Kubi.
Employees unable to meet in person may lend their voice to the walkout by stopping work and showing their participation.
So we've talked about this before on the show, and we've talked about how, toxic masculinity, it's a bad thing, the patriarchy, especially, for men and women and non-binary people, these are bad things. This culture, this video game culture, this is like a handful of things that have come out. You best believe it's prominent in every major AAA games company. Like, I love when the MRAs and the men's right activists like to say, well, it's just a giant myth that men make more than women, because if that was the case, why don't we just hire more women so we can just pay them less? It's actually illegal to pay someone less for the same job in America. And then you have to try to explain to them, well, it's way more complicated than that. It's not just like women enter the workforce and we're like, we're going to pay you 70 cents to the male dollar. It's actually something, I believe it's called the Pink Belt Initiative. No, I'm getting the name of that wrong. Someone will correct me in chat. But anyways, a lot of these industries, especially high-paying industries, ones that involve the media, ones that involve video game development, especially music production, all that kind of stuff, they are overwhelmingly male. Incredibly male. So men are in all the positions of power. They're the majority of the CEOs for these companies. They're the majority of the hirers. They're the majority of the managers. Because of that, you've got these institutions that are just filled with dudes. And they've just created this kind of, dude bro culture. And in that environment, do you want to enter that as a woman? Do you want to come into that as a woman, where you will be 1 or maybe 3, sometimes 15% representational inside an environment like that? And then you get into this workplace, and it's just surrounded by dudes being dude bros. Now, dudes being dude bros, that would be on the nice end of the scale, right? Like, it just if it's just kind of like casual, like, oh yeah, I fucked 12 chicks yesterday, it was fucking badass, my penis doesn't work anymore, bro. It's like, okay, that would be bad and kind of shitty, but it gets so much worse than that, right? It becomes overwhelmingly rife with sexual harassment. It becomes overwhelmingly rife with all kinds of fucked up shit like this, and then it creates this atmosphere where, yeah, surprise surprise, women don't want to work for these companies, because when they do, it's a fucking horrible toxic work environment. Why would they? Hey, thank you, Raven. FD Senior does lefty content for the patriarchy from a male perspective. I'm not them, but it's worth showing out. Okay, fuck, I'll check it out. I've been talking about this for a while. I want a dudes rock lefty style channel to take that stuff away from the MRAs.
Social media with the @GBliz Walkout hashtag. If you belong to a different studio, please feel free to customize the hashtag to your studio. And the thing there is, you might think, oh, it's whatever, it's that. But if every single employee steps out for like 4 hours, number one, come on, they're not going to be hard at work at 9:48 a.m., are they? No. So you're probably going to be losing 5 or 6 hours effectively, because staff will be talking about this afterward in Slack and stuff. So you're going to be losing like 6,
yeah,
7.
Jack,
basically, you may as well just lose a full day of actual proper productivity from every single staff there. That's a lot of hours. A lot of stuff you're missing out on. And it's a sort of thing where get onto this story as well. Is there any wonder that there's a shareholder lawsuit against execs at Activision Blizzard for failing their fiduciary duties? Because you're definitely failing the best interests of shareholders.
So, they go for a walkout. But hey, things get a little more spicy. Activision Blizzard walkout organizers just released a statement in which there was a response from CEO Bobby Kotick's email to staff in which he described the company's response as tone deaf. On the evening before our employee walkout, Activision Blizzard leadership released a statement apologizing for their harmful responses to last week's DFEH lawsuit. While we are pleased to see the collective voices, including an open letter with thousands of signatures from our current employees, have convinced leadership to change their tone of the communications, this response fails to address the critical elements at the heart of the employee concern. Activision Blizzard's response did not address the following: the end of forced arbitration for all employees, worker participation and oversight of hiring and promotional policies, the need for greater pay transparency to ensure equality, employee selection of a third to audit HR and other company processes. Today's walkout will demonstrate that this is not a one-time event that our leaders can ignore. We will not return to silence. We will not be placated in the same process that led us to this point. This is just the beginning of an enduring movement in favor of better labor organizations for all employees, especially women, particularly women of color, transgender women, non-binary people, and other marginalized groups. We expect a prompt response and a commitment to action from leadership on points enumerated above, and look beyond all to maintaining a constructive dialogue on how to build a better Activision Blizzard for all employees. So, all this being said, also, I'm glad everyone is discussing that Bobby Kotick is in Epstein's little black book. Oh, what's this? Oh, yes. Does everyone remember Jeffrey Epstein's black book? And when it came out? Jeffrey Epstein, the pedophile, the human trafficker who was trafficking children for the use of rich people to again be used for sexual assault. That Jeffrey Epstein, yeah. It turns out the CEO of Activision Blizzard was in his Rolodex, right next to Henry Kissinger. Yeah, they're right next to each other. That's a thing. Yeah. So there you have it. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Okay. And normally that would be where I'd be like, well, that's all pretty fucked up. At least it doesn't get worse. Oh, shit. Inside Blizzard developers' infamous Bill Cosby suite. Booze, sexual remarks, a giant portrait of Cosby are all at the center of the Activision lawsuit. I don't know much about effigies, but this is an odd one. This is an odd one. Since news broke last week of widespread allegations of sexual harassment and discrimination in Activision Blizzard via a legal complaint from the state of California, many top male developers there, both current and former, have responded with shock and dismay. While many claim they weren't aware of the problematic frat boy culture leading to accusations of sexual harassment and assaults at the hands of male Blizzard employees, comments and images shared on social media paint a different picture. Based on photographs and screenshots of Facebook posts obtained by Kotaku, it's clear that people beyond Alex Afrasiabi's, the man named in a lawsuit, and a longtime World of Warcraft developer, were aware of the Cosby Suite mentioned in the lawsuit that apparently was nicknamed for Afrasiabi's BlizzCon 2013 hotel room and seemingly a reference to the name of the previously convicted rapist Bill Cosby. He worked for the World of Warcraft beginning in 2004, designed some of its biggest quests, and eventually became a creative director on the 2016 Legion and 2018 Battle of Azeroth expansions. He is also the only person outside of Blizzard's president J. Allen Brack outright named in the lawsuit, a fact that's made easy for some to try and distance themselves from Afrasiabi's actions. During a company event, an annual convention called BlizzCon, Afrasiabi would hit on female employees, telling them he wanted to marry them, attempted to kiss them, and put his arms around them. This was in plain view of other male employees, including supervisors, who had to intervene and pull him off female employees. Afrasiabi was also known to engage in harassment of females in his suite, and he nicknamed it the Crosby Suite after alleged rapist Bill Crosby. Cool. But the Crosby Suite was more than just a nickname or joke. Based on images and comments from Afrasiabi's Facebook, it's supplied by Kotaku by a former developer of Blizzard. It was reportedly a booze-filled meeting place where many, including him, would pose with an actual portrait of Bill Cosby while smiling. It was also a hotspot for informing networking at BlizzCon. 3 sources told Kotaku, where people were looking to make inroads at the company and go to meet out and hang out with its top designers. And also just riddled with dead booze. Yeah, good old booze. Booze will make everything fun. He did not respond to Kotaku by press time and has deleted most of his social media presence. But Afrasiabi can also be seen in a number of pictures surrounded by a variety of unidentified people on a bed. The caption on the screenshot suggests the album hails from gatherings held at BlizzCon 2013. Another image from the same Facebook album shows a screenshot from 2013 called The BlizzCon Cosby Crew. In it, former Blizzard manager David Kosak writes, "I am gathering the hot chicks for the cause. Bring them," he says. "You can't marry all of them," Kosak writes. "I can. I'm Middle Eastern," responds Afrasiabi. Jesse McCree, currently a lead game designer at Blizzard, replies, "You misspelled fuck." Corey Salkin, currently lead designer at Blizzard, and Greg Street, former Blizzard developer working at the new MMO Riot Games, were also present in the chat. The chat was provided a series of screenshots depicting a wide array of Facebook posts by Afrasiabi under the 2013 photo album. The album contained a picture exclusively dedicated to the amount of alcohol procured in the preparation for the Cosby Suite, possibly the greatest group chat in the history of mankind. Cool. So they were doing this, and they were also trying to get people hyped up for the old Cosby room, you know? It's basically like, hey, y'all, not only do we got this, look at all the booze. Look at all the sweet, sweet liquor that we're going to use to get people wed. We're going to marry so many people. Yeah. Another ex-Blizzard source pushed back on the claims the Cosby Suite was a joke about ugly boardrooms and sweaters, noting that when Blizzard moved to its new Irvine, California campuses, the office had been freshly painted. Oh, so it was a joke. It's funny because the room was gross. You know, the room where they were trying to get women married. So it was a gross room, and then sweatshirts are gross, I guess, for some reason. And so because of that, the Cosby room wasn't a reference to drugging and raping anyone. It was a reference to ugly sweatshirts. So my mistake. Saved. I think the whole thing was saved. 2 other former Blizzard developers told Kotaku that when they heard about the Cosby Suite through whisper networks, they clearly interpreted it as a reference to the allegations against him. In one image procured by Kotaku, a group of women are sitting on a bed in the room with the Cosby portrait. One of the women appears to have a hand on another's breasts, which is cheered on by the men in the comments. The image is procured by Kotaku and 2 sources of the knowledge to Afrasiabi's alleged predatory behavior. Cosby's reputation was apparently the point of why the group of the men gathered around the picture in his photos. It was such a boys' club that creating something like the Cosby Suite was seen as funny. Only you could get effectively laid. Alex Reeves, one Facebook comment in the picture. Cause approved. Hashtag cause approved. Cool. So, as you can probably tell, because I've been talking about how it's kind of a toxic work environment, a toxic atmosphere. It's something that seems to be shared amongst all the other employees who are working with them too. Now, again, I've talked about how hashtag not all men, right? Not all men are the ones perpetuating this. But if you're one of the dudes who is in that work environment and you're watching what's going down, you're seeing that there's a Cosby Suite in which they're trying to plow women with liquor and they are trying to do all kinds of terrible, nefarious schemes. and you don't speak out about it, then yes, you are part of the problem. So if you want to be one of the good boys, not the good old boys, but one of the good boys, and you want to, uphold the values of Dudes Rock, then call this shit out. And it doesn't matter where you're working. Doesn't matter if it's at Blizzard. Doesn't matter if it's at Activision. Doesn't matter if it's at Space Quest. Sierra. Is Sierra Games still a thing? It may be. Sierra Games, fun fact, was actually one of the co-programmers. A lot of really good point-and-click adventure games was a woman. Really, really good piece of internet video game history. But anyways, all this being said, doesn't matter where you're working. Doesn't matter if it's a video game company, a media company, a Twitch streamer house. Doesn't matter where it is. If you want to be on the right side of history on all this stuff, and you want to help reinforce the idea that hashtag not all men are, creep weirdos like these motherfuckers. It's true. It's true. Dudes rock. Not these dudes. These are just absolute scumbags, possibly rapists. We'll find out. So be on the good side and call this shit out. You can easily say something about it. I am not comfortable with this atmosphere where we've got something called the Cosby Suite, where we venerate a drugging rapist, and that we invite people back to the suite, and then we live stream it, and then we get everyone super amped on how much booze we have so that we can bring back women to this, and then we can all celebrate as we awkwardly make them touch each other and stuff like that. You can be like, this is super fucked up. I don't feel comfortable being a part of this. If this is not something that HR or the company is going to take seriously, then I don't want to work here. There you go. It's very easy. When the news of the lawsuit first broke, Activision Blizzard issued a statement largely denying regulators' framing of the allegations as distorted, and in many cases false, descriptions of the Blizzard's past. We're good now. The statement recently came with comments by Brack and other Activision Blizzard leaders, have many current and former developers feeling like the company is at best in denial, or at worst intentionally seeking to obfuscate the truth and shirk responsibility for how people work and are treated. As a result, over a quarter of Activision Blizzard's current staff, as well as many other former employees, have signed on to an open letter rebuking the company's current handling of the allegations against it. Many are also planning to walk out on July 28th in support of the demands, like an end to mandatory arbitration agreements, transparency around compensation, and a more diverse hiring. Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick announced last night that the company's previous statements had been tone deaf and pledged to make some changes to the company going forward, including investigating all the managers currently at the company who were seen to have impeded the integrity of our process for evaluating claims. So, long story short, everyone, please support the protests. Do not log on to WoW. Do not buy any upgrades or skins or packages or whatever the fuck they sell in Overwatch. I have not played it yet. But just support the workers, support their strike, support their unionization efforts. It sucks that it has to get to this point where these horrifying stories come out. These absolutely disgusting stories of sexual harassment, and obviously they're revolting, and everyone will see them and be like, I know that's bad because that one's easy. This shit is very easy to call out, right? It doesn't really take a lot of courage for me or anyone to be like, that's gross. That's fucked up. That's gross. Same thing with Harvey Weinstein, right? That's fucked up. That's gross. Oh yeah, no, he deserves to be in prison, as does Cosby, as do any of the people who engaged in non-consensual, sexual relations with women. That's all gross. It's a lot harder, and trust me, I'm speaking from experience, to call out people around you, either friends or workplace associates, when they're doing shit that is shady, especially in the boys' club. You don't want to be seen, like, as soon as you do, someone's going to be like, oh, what, are you fucking simping, bro? Are you hoping that they're going to fuck you because you're the nice guy? Is this the long game, bro? If you simp hard enough, then all these women eventually are going to be like, yeah, okay, I'll have sex with the nice guy. Is that why you're calling us out? Where it's just like, no, I'm not intending to have sex with any of these women, but I think you are, and I don't know if you're trying to do it consensually, and that's what's fucked up to me. And so that's why, yes, I am going to call out what you're doing and stop. That's pretty much it.
Do you want movies and Serfs watching the movies? So then come over to the new channels. It's the Serfs Cinema. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Can you do the thing, that thumbs up and comment and all those things that help us out in the algorithm that controls every aspect of our lives? Also, if you happen to have a Facebook account, can you delete it? Like, just delete it. You should probably delete your Facebook account because it's not a great company. But hey, if you can't do that for whatever reason, I understand. And could you also go to facebook.com/thesurftimes then and give us a little like and a follow. We're just trying to push back against the fact that people like Ben Shapiro happen to dominate the platform entirely. And when everyone asks why do older generations believe the things they believe, one of the problems is the majority of them on social media use Facebook. So to counter that, we're just going to be on there too now. Also, if you happen to have a union or a worker co-op or even a leftist project, podcast, website, Zoom, MySpace, it doesn't matter. We will advertise it for free on this channel. All you got to do is go to weareserfs.com and use the forms that we got there, weareserfs.com. Thanks, everybody.
To our wonderful gods, Xander Corvus, VK Jehannam, T. Grow, and Peyton L. Just, may you smite all of our enemies. To our monarchs, Tom Spiker and the Tim Caucus, we are your humble servants, ready to do all your bidding. To our lords, Evan Nudie, Trevor R., Alexander Thaler, Ryan Lubin, and Jeff Lamb, we shall proudly carry your banner on the online battlefield. To our Knights of the Round Table, Val 9000, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet 185, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevor Janis, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojack, Saren 42, Chronic the Hemphog, Phone Jenny, Radical Maniac, Ramon Acosta, Jimmy Big Nuts, Violent Orchard, Sophie Baby, Political Puppy, Andreas Chiringuito, Zach Christensen, Yopi, Josh Mickelson, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We raise our glass and we raise our swords and we salute you.